Hey, good morning from the office. I'm your host, BKP. We are North Georgia's only live online morning show. Um, a lot going on. Where do we start? I've said that before. There are all the social media ways you can follow us. You can always text me live on the show, and there's the email address if you want to send me a message. Hi, how are you? It's Tuesday, August 4th. 2020. Now, we're going to talk about this, I think, in the second segment. I might hold it to 9 o'clock. I'm not for sure. But I do want to come out of the box with something, right out of the box. Like, I always feel like I'm a hockey player and I've been in the penalty box and I've been watching the clock till I get to go back on the ice. Well, I am back on the ice this morning. And let's just say this. I want to come out of the box with, the old-fashioned, it's August 4th. What is good? What happened to the old-fashioned? Now, I want to make sure, kids out there, I am not advocating. Okay? The second number 40 that you made number 50, that I sent another number 50 that you made 51. Did you understand that, Emily? I sent two 40s. One, not 40 ounce, 40s. You remember back in the day when you tried to rake up enough money to get a 40? Sorry, no advocating any alcoholic beverages on this show for minors. You remember, all right, so I sent two 40s. You moved 40 to a 50, and then I just sent a 50. So this one has to be, can you give me 50? And you move the new 50 to 51. To get all that, give me the new 40. The new 50, there it is. Governor Kemp signs bill allowing stores to deliver beer, wine, liquor to Georgians at home. So during the pandemic, you're drunk at the house. Here's the scenario. You're drunk. Maybe the wife's drunk too. Maybe you're fighting. Just saying. You say, hold on, time out. Somebody has to make a beer run. No, we don't. We can stay right here in the house. Just dial it up. They'll bring a 12-pack to the door. Just saying. Now, I am not going to get in. There's several advocates that think this is good policy, several advocates that think it's bad policy. I just know we made it to August 3rd, 2020. We made it through the entire history, Georgia state history. From the time it was a colony all the way through, we've made it. Without somebody hitting the doorbell, ding dong. Who is it? It's the beer man. The Budweiser truck's out front. You're on our stop. Just saying, we made it through all these years without the delivery. I knew as soon as they started delivering pizzas, this would come sooner or later. You can get a pizza and a beer. All right, so enough is enough. But what I want to say here, it's August 4th. Leave that up for a minute. Tomorrow is August 5th. I know, that's not the big news. What the news is in August 5th is the last day for Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia to sign bills into law. That's it. If they passed in the 2020 legislative session, by tomorrow he has to get the red pen out and veto, or he has to get the black pen out and sign, or he has to forget like it ever happened, doesn't sign it, it turns into law, and then but every single bill that the governor will be signing today, the 4th, or tomorrow, will have political consequences, and that's how he will determine how he signs his bills. Yes, that's not right or wrong, good, bad, political. They are doing all the testing, and he is waiting till August 5th. Now, when I get off the show here, Governor Brian Kemp may have signed some bills that we're waiting to see, but I have a bill that I'm waiting on to see what Kemp does. I think I know why. At 9 o'clock, it might be revealed. It might already be public. This is not on the AJC or anywhere out there this morning. I think I know why we're up to August 5th before the governor signs certain bills, how he's going to sign them, and what is happening. We think we might. It's a question mark. We're just asking for a friend. There's a new, give me the new 51 I just sent you over. Okay? It's the new 51. I sent 50. I called it 50. We changed it to 51. Remember, I just sent it. Are you with me on this, Emily? This is not Emily's fault, folks. This is BKP, right here. BKP changed the pictures. So I just sent you a new one. It's by itself. I named it 50, but it should be 51. Have I just confused the hell out of you? Again, it would not be her fault. So if you have that, put it up. Number 51, a pro-Loeffler Gov group reinforces her U.S. Senate campaign. So there's a new group out there. It's a political action committee. Right there it is. And the acronym is GOV, G-U-V. And it is the chair of this PAC, political PAC, is Martha Zoller, okay? She is the chair of the political PAC. We will talk about this. Let's call it 9 o'clock, maybe sooner, all right? Now, remember, let's go through. Now, I know what a lot of you are looking at. Number one, give me number one, okay? We're not going to spend too much time on this today. The MSNBC producer quits. This cancer strokes national division. Facts too cumbersome for audience. Okay. So this is not a shock. And I don't want to take too much time on this. I have often wondered, is there somebody in one of these news networks that just says one day, really, I can't do this anymore? And obviously we hit that day. This is awesome for this lady, but here's what I want to go to this morning. Ready? I want to go to the mail-in ballots. Now, first of all, I watch MSNBC, and this is the segment I want. The fraud, this will be, there will be fraud in the upcoming November 3rd election, okay? How are we going to stop the fraud? How are we going to secure our elections? Now, you will hear the media talk about securing our elections all the time. And they come out and they bring the talking heads to yell that Trump does not have proof. I told you months ago on the show, weeks ago, a week ago, every day. The media takes what you see. That is a Trump flag, okay? The media takes what you see and yells over you, yells over everything, and says, and they say to you, you didn't see it. This is what you're seeing now, okay? You think you saw this. Didn't happen. Okay? You're saying, wait a minute, this is right before my very eyes. It's every day. I have told you this election will be too close to call, right? Now it is on all the media, and it is ramped up that we probably, a good possibility we will not know in November. Now the president came out April. There's more than one, okay? So let me play a little bit of a montage of what I have here. I want to start, Emily, with the let's see. I sent you several videos. Hang tight here. I'm trying to make sure I've got the right one I want to put up. I've got a video here I want to go back. That's August 3rd. I want to go back to the one video. I had it here a minute ago. Sorry about that. Hang tight, hang tight. This was from April 8th, 2020, okay? It says President Donald Trump says voting by mail is ripe with fraud again. So this is on April 8th, okay? This is not yesterday, all right? President Trump says voting by mail is ripe with fraud again, okay? Again. Play that one until I...
I wanted to get back to something you were saying yesterday about people going to Wisconsin and voting in the middle of this pandemic, really putting their lives on the line. And you said, well, if they do that, vote by mail, perhaps we'll have voter fraud in this country. I just wanted to ask you, voters in 5 states, Utah, Colorado, Hawaii, Washington, and Oregon, all vote by mail. Can you or the White House staff or your campaign provide any evidence to back up your claim that mail-in voting is rife with fraud, like the example you gave of people working in rooms filling out false ballots? Sure. You've been talking about voter fraud since the beginning of this administration.
Very fair.
And where's the evidence of it?
I think there's a lot of evidence, but we'll provide you with some, okay? And there's evidence that's being compiled, just like it's being compiled in the state of California, where they settled with Judicial Watch, saying that 1 million people should not have been voting. And you saw that? Did you, wait, excuse me. Well, I'm just telling you. I'm telling you, in California, in the great state of California, they settled, and we could have gone a lot further. Judicial Watch settled where they agreed that 1 million people should not have voted, where they were 115 years old and lots of things, and people were voting in their place. What I see, and every one of those states that you mentioned is a state that happens to be won by the Democrats. And if you have a position like me where it's registered, you're here, and we're voting someplace where I'm not. I haven't left the White House in, I guess, months, other than to, ask a ship to, wave it goodbye to New York, which, by the way, is now going, as you know, being used for the purpose that we're talking about, which a lot of people wanted. Wait a minute.
Voting doesn't work out well for the Republicans.
It doesn't work out well for the Republicans. Vote by mail doesn't work out well for the Republicans. This is on April 8th, okay? Now, we're going somewhere with this, okay, because you want to pay attention to this, all right? Because the vote by mail is going to be a disaster, all right? And we're going to show you. Now, they don't care. CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, they do not care to come out and plaster their morning broadcast with New York Times articles, Washington Post. It's all the time if it's a direct attack on the president. But if it actually is a story that doesn't promote the president, but vindicates or parallels or agrees with or validates the president, any of the above, they stay away from it. Okay, and we'll get into that. Now let's go to yesterday's press conference. We're going to stay here a couple minutes on this one. This is vote by mail because I'm going somewhere with this. You're going to want to pay attention, okay? Give me the one that says live Trump holds news conference at White House, NBC, and it has a timestamp on it to start.
Then on the negotiations on Capitol Hill, you expressed some frustration and said you might take executive action to address.
I might do that, yes.
So I was wondering if you could talk about both how you might prevent evictions through executive action, and then also...
Yeah, I can do that if I want, and I want to do that. I don't want people to be evicted, and, when they're evicted, when they're thrown out of their, whatever the place may be, in many cases, they go to big shelters. And if you talk about pandemic, this is a pandemic, and they go to shelters. Number one, they're thrown out viciously. It's not their fault. It's China's fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's China's fault. But number two, and if they are thrown out, they oftentimes will go to a shelter with tremendous numbers of other people, and the virus will spread. And we don't want that.
Are you considering suspending payroll, the collection of payroll taxes?
Well, I can do that also through an executive order, so we'll be talking about that. But we're having a very good discussion with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. The problem is they want to do bailouts of their various Democrat-run states and cities. And they want a lot of money. They want $1 trillion for that. And so they want to do much more than COVID-related. They want to bail out cities and states that have been in trouble for years of bad management. In all cases, Democrat-run cities. And we don't think that's fair. You understand that. You've heard it before. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thanks, Mr. President.
I want to back that up like 3 or 4 seconds for that next question when we come back. We're going to come back to that, okay? So I'll back that up about 3 seconds, have it ready. Now, these are Democrat-run cities, and there's a reason I'm putting these two together. These are Democrat-run cities, okay? They want to bail out for Democrat-run cities. If you think for 1 minute that Democrats, okay, if you think that Democrats care about you, you're wrong. Look at the black community in the United States of America. Look at Black America and then look and say, Democrats care about me. They do not. It's factual. It's factual. Look at the inner cities and see how much you can see how much and the kind of care Democrats really have for people in Democrat-run inner cities. There you go. Point being is, if you like Democrat-run cities, you will really like most, not all, most of your Democrat-run board of elections in your area. Yes, you will really like them. The board of elections. Nobody talks about them. Nobody shows up at board of election meetings. Nobody says anything about board of election. Nobody looks to see how many liberal whack jobs are on your board of election. Yes, it's a board of election. It will be a board. You will remember Florida? No, not hanging chads. The election in Florida with the Board of Elections supervisor, the corruption there. All right, now let's talk. It's going to take a couple minutes, okay? Let's play that. They want to bail out. They don't care. They do. Wait a minute. They do. You lost it if you think they care about your $600 a week unemployment. That is what Democrats are hanging up here to try to get money for mail-in ballots, money for Board of Elections. Every time they say more money for elections and mail-in, that's your liberal Board of Elections, people. We will get into that and dig into that more. Go to that next part on that video.
More than COVID related. They want to bail out cities and states that have been in trouble for years of bad management. In all cases, Democrat-run cities. And we don't think that's fair. You understand that. You've heard it before. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thanks, Mr. President. I wanted to ask you about the Justice Department sending federal agents into cities like Chicago as part of Operation Legend. How exactly do you envision these federal forces working alongside local police departments to help stop violent
It's
crime?
not a mass send, but it's sending very talented people to help them with the drugs and the shootings and the guns and the things that are happening. It's not like sending in the National Guard and stopping it cold, which is an example. A lot of progress has been made in Portland, but, frankly, sending in the National Guard like we did in Minneapolis, it stopped it cold. From the time we sent that National Guard, they walked down the street. It was over in Minneapolis. Now it may be starting up again. These are Democrat-run cities and states, and it hasn't been a pretty picture to watch. We will help Chicago. We'll help New York if they have to request the help. But we want to stop the drugs. We want to stop the guns. A lot of the Chicago is guns, but what it is drug-related, gang-related, largely gang-related. with ICE, we send out thousands of MS-13, thousands and thousands of MS-13. We send them back, or in some cases have to put them in prison. They're too violent. They're truly violent. So we're helping out. When you look at what's happening in Chicago and some other cities with the shootings and the killings, they need help. And we haven't met with resistance, I have to be honest with you. I think it's good that we haven't. We're only looking to help them. We're only looking to help. OAN.
All right. He's about to go to OAN. I want to back that up 3 seconds right there. Just a second, a fraction. He's about to go to OAN. All right. Now, I watched this yesterday. Again, second time. Democrat-run cities, Chicago's. We're looking at the murder rates. We're looking at the crime rate. We're looking at Black Lives Matter, anarchists, these terrorist groups that have really done a lot of damage, we'll just call it that, to the cities. So you have bailouts, trillions of dollars worth of bailouts they want. Bull on the $600 Karen in Democrat-run cities and states. The feds, okay, federal forces into Chicago, okay, Democrat-run cities, all right, Democrat-run cities, okay, now, and states. Now, OAN is about to ask him about absentee ballots. We're going to listen to that, take our first break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to break down the 2020 November 3rd election that we better be ready for. And the president is telling the truth, and the media will not report it, as you are shocked, but we are here. So let's go to back. Let's go to the OAN question now.
We're only looking to help them. We're only looking to help. OAN.
Thank you, Mr. President. In our nation's 243-year history, there has never been a stronger push for mail-in ballots to determine a national election.
Yeah.
Are you considering at any point issuing an executive order addressing mail-in ballots, and why do you think some people are pushing it so hard?
Well, there's never been a push like this for mail-in ballots, and if you look at the New York congressional race, which is a disaster, Carolyn, it's been a total disaster. They're 6 weeks into it now. They have no clue what's going on. And I mean, I think I can say right here and now, I think you have to rerun that race because it's a mess. Nobody knows what's happening with the ballots and the lost ballots and the fraudulent ballots, I guess. I think you probably have to take the Carolyn Maloney race and run it over again. How can you do this? And this is a small race with literally thousands of people, small thousands, and it's all messed up. You look at Paterson, New Jersey, it's all messed up. Almost every one of these, and these are small, easy to control. They should be able to do this easy. Now you're talking about like Nevada, where last 2 nights ago, they went out and in the darkness of night, without people, without having any meetings of the public, without having anything, they approved a ridiculous. You don't have to look at signatures. You don't have to approve anything. You can have double mailings. You can have all sorts of things. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's a disgrace. I mean, honestly, it's a disgrace. So it's a very good question. I mean, the mail-in ballots, if you look at just some of the small places, the small races, a congressional race in New York, it should be very easy. Normally that would have been announced at 7 o'clock and it would have been down to the wire and everybody would have loved it. If it was at all complex, it would have taken an extra 45 minutes or an hour. They would have announced it a little bit later. They have no clue. This was about 6 weeks ago, and they have no clue what's going on. They've lost ballots. There's fraudulent ballots. How are you going to do that for an entire nation? They're using COVID to try and get the mail-in ballots. Now, absentee ballots are great. Absentee ballots, they have to request them. They go through a process. They get them. But the universal mail-in ballots have turned out to be a disaster. And what Nevada has been doing, if you look over the last few days, you have to look at what they've done. You can have 2 ballots. You can harvest. It's harvesting. So you can take thousands of ballots, put them together, and just dump them down on somebody's desk after a certain period of time. They have something where if you vote, the vote can count up to 7 days later. Well, if the vote's going to count 7 days later, that means if it depends on the one state like Nevada, that would mean simply that you can't have, supposing it's down to that one state, it could be, it's a great state, but supposing it's down to that one state, that means you have to wait 7 days. But they won't have it there. This is something that's so messed up. And by the way, I have to say, the post office for many, many years has been, run in a fashion that hasn't been great. Great workers and everything, but they have old equipment, very old equipment. And I don't think the post office is prepared for a thing like this. You have to ask the people at the post office. But how can the post office be expected to handle? They have regular mailing. And then now on top of that, they have the internet, where you have Amazon and these companies doing, all the buying. Instead of going to a department store, they go buy through mail. So you have massive numbers of purchases now going through the post office, purchases of items and gifts. And that's a tremendous strain on the post office. The post office loses a fortune. It has been for many, many years, for decades. So now on top of it, it has this. And the Amazons of the world and the others, they pay very, very little money. They lose money on the post office loses money, which is ridiculous, on every package it delivers. But now on top of that, and I'm not just referring to Amazon, I'm talking about all of the competitors, if there is such a thing to Amazon. There will be, but if there is such a thing. But now on top of that, you'll have somebody like the governor of Nevada come out with this massive plan out of nowhere to take millions of ballots and send them all over the place. You'll never know who won that state. It'll get messed up just like New York and just like Paterson, New Jersey, and just like many other places. In West Virginia, they indicted a postman for doing something very bad. You know that? But there are many cases all over the country. If you look, you'll be able to find, there's a list of them all over the country, and that has to do with universal mail-in. Again, absentee is great. It works. Like in Florida, they'll do absentee. It really works. But universal mail-in ballots is going to be a great embarrassment to our country.
Is there an executive order on this?
Well, I have the right to do it. We haven't gotten there yet, but we'll see what happens. We will be suing in Nevada, and that's already been taken care of. We'll probably file something tomorrow. I do want to say that we're going to be introducing a tremendous health care plan sometime hopefully prior to the end of the month.
Where are you hearing about the tremendous health care plan that they're going to be introducing sometime this month? Nowhere. You don't hear that on CNN. No, there's no big news on that. But anyhow, let's get back to this right here, okay? Now, the media immediately took off yesterday to discredit President Trump. They don't tell the truth. We know that. So let me play this before we go to a break. It says Acosta, Jim Acosta, CNN, I know you hate him, Trump telling whoppers about mail-in voting. All right. And go ahead and play that one about a minute and a half, and then we're going to go to break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to validate everything the president says. And they're not whoppers, Jim Acosta at CNN. Go ahead and play that for me.
This virus increasing all across the country and the death toll going up. You don't think they know?
No. It says Acosta, Trump telling whoppers about mail-in voting. That's not it. The title. Did I send it to you, or did I forget to send it to you? Do you have it? If you don't, I could get it over the break. Do you have it? Acosta, Trump telling whoppers about mail-in voting. Okay. I don't have that one. We'll get it right after it during this message. These brief messages, stay with us, because we want to show you, and it's important to stay through the break, because we want to show you what's really going to happen November 3rd on election night if you out there don't get involved in your local board of elections immediately. Take us to break.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
I'm Jeff Riblett, President of Asset Protection Group. As a certified financial planner and with 20 years experience, I've helped thousands of families and business owners create a tremendous amount of wealth. Fortunately, most of that wealth has been protected. Don't allow an unforeseen life event, such as a nursing home stay or the next market meltdown, destroy your family's wealth. Be smart. Call me. Let's determine how best to protect your assets and preserve your wealth.
Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is more than just your average Ace. We have a huge selection of Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next trip. We have a huge selection of lumber for your next building project. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs. Plus, we have everything you'd expect, like paint, tools, and equipment.
Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
The Chevy inventory is rolling in again, and Days Chevrolet in Jasper is discounting them deep. North Georgia's #1 truck, the Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, discounted up to $8,000 off. Plus, get huge savings with 0% financing for 84 months on every Equinox and Trax. Everyone's been waiting for these Chevys, and we've got them for less at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done. Find new roads.
All right, folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. We're going to show you how to get in touch with the show. Never hesitate to send me a text message, call 24/7, follow us on social media. There's all the ways to follow us. It is August 4th, 2020, August 4th, 2020, Tuesday. Now, Governor Brian Kemp in Georgia has till August 5th to sign bills. Legislative bills that passed the 2020 legislative session. We're going to talk about that as soon as we wrap up here. But vote by mail fraud. Now, there's a couple things. I get it. Now, the media is yelling the opposite direction on this. And we'll just show you one clip because it's all day long. They started out this morning. They are trying to do everything to say the president is wrong. But the president's telling the truth about everything concerning mail-in ballots. And I'm not qualifying concerning mail-in ballots like he's not telling the truth on something else. Play that video I just put up and I just sent you, and then we'll come back, okay?
The mail-in ballots, if you look at just some of the small places, the small races, a congressional race in New York, should be very easy. Normally that would have been announced at 7 o'clock and it would have been down to the wire and everybody would have loved it. If it was at all complex, it would have taken an extra 45 minutes or an hour. They would have announced it a little bit later. They have no clue. This was about 6 weeks ago, and they have no clue what's going on. They've lost ballots. There's fraudulent ballots. How are you going to do that for an entire nation? They're using COVID to try and get the mail-in ballots. Now, absentee ballots are great. Absentee ballots, they have to request them. They go through a process. They get them. But the universal mail-in ballots have turned out to be a disaster. And what Nevada has been doing, if you look over the last few days, you have to look at what they've done. You can have 2 ballots. You can harvest. It's harvesting. So you can take thousands of ballots, put them together, and just dump them down on somebody's desk after a certain period of time. They have something where if you vote, the vote can count up to 7 days later. Well, if the vote's going to count 7 days later, that means if it depends on the one state like Nevada, that would mean simply that you can't have, supposing it's down to that one state, it could be. It's a great state. But supposing it's down to that one state, that means you have to wait 7 days. But they won't have it there. This is something that's so messed up. And by the way, I have to say, the post office for many, many years has been, run in a fashion that hasn't been great. Great workers and everything, but they have old equipment, very old equipment. And I don't think the post office is prepared for a thing like this. You have to ask the people at the post office. But how can the post office be expected to handle? They have regular mailing. And then now on top of that, they have the internet, where you have Amazon and these companies doing, all the buying. Instead of going to a department store, they go buy through mail. So you have massive numbers of purchases now going through the post office, purchases of items and gifts. And that's a tremendous strain on the post office. The post office loses a fortune. It has been for many, many years, for decades. So now on top of it, it has this. And the Amazons of the world and the others, they pay very, very little money. They lose money on the post office loses money, which is ridiculous, on every package it delivers.
The president was just telling one whopper after another about mail-in voting. At one point saying that he doesn't believe that the U.S. Postal Service has the ability to deal with mail-in balloting at election time. We just need to point out the U.S. Postal Service put out a statement late this afternoon that says the Postal Service has ample capacity to adjust our nationwide processing and delivery network to meet projected election and political mail volume, including any additional volume that may result as a response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And so, as we've seen so many times with this President Wolf, the subject at hand for so many Americans around the country is this pandemic, but he likes to throw out these distractions. One of his favorite distractions, and it was teed up by a reporter with OAN, one of the president's favorite propaganda outlets. The subject of mail-in voting was brought up. The president tried to say over and over again that the post office, the Postal Service, can't deal with this situation when it comes to mail-in balloting at election time. But the Postal Service, which is run by, we should point out, one of his own supporters, put out a statement earlier today saying that they'll be just fine when it comes to election time. So, Wolf, when it comes to when.
All right, now we're ready. Okay, you waited this long. Now we're teed up by OAN. Okay, it was teed up. Now you can see right there, MSNBC, all of them. They don't want to change. They don't want this direction to come out. Now, my opinion, if OAN doesn't ask the question yesterday, mail-in ballots do not get discussed. Probably not. Probably not getting discussed because they don't want to talk about this. Acosta says, which I know you have no respect, one whopper after another. I wanted to play that up to the point that you see president attack despite lack of evidence. Did you see on the button? Despite. President attacks mail-in ballots despite lack of evidence, because we have the evidence, okay? He's a master of changing the subject at hand. They don't want the subject changed because they don't want you to know the truth. So let's get into the truth, because first of all, OAN did not tee this up yesterday. Okay, so let me go through here. Now, this is, I think, give me number 31. Okay. Now, this is not current. This is a month after, because I think the New York primary was what? New York State primary was June 23rd. We have that date. So this is not yesterday, but this is the Washington Post. This is a headline from the Washington Post. A month later, this New York City primary is still a train wreck and a warning to us all, okay? Washington Post, okay? Now remember, despite lack of evidence. Now, this is, as the president likes to call it, the failing New York Times. All right? And we're going to start, here is, okay, number 19, all right? Let me go through a couple of the pictures here. 19, all right? Because I'm going to get you the evidence out. They jump on this because they try to squash the truth. Trump pushes false claims about mail-in vote fraud. Here's the facts. All right? This was this morning. They are doing everything to keep this out of your hands, and we're going to deal with it, all right? So let me go to this, all right? Hang tight. We're going to get a couple of them up here. Number 17, Trump attacks mail-in voting. All right, remember, CNN said despite lack of evidence, all right? We had 19, Trump pushes false claim about mail-in fraud. Here is mail-in vote fraud. Here is the facts. We're going to get into Nevada in a minute, okay? Number 20, Trump claims authority to issue executive order on mail-in votes. There is no precedent or apparent authority for Trump to try to curtail the use of mail-in ballots because executive order though he could use a document document to formalize his opposition to the practice. Now, number 21, Trump pledges lawsuit to block mail-in voting in Nevada. We will get into that. And so, this is number 28. 28. Carol B. Mahoney faced off against a challenger, okay? Number 28. This is the New York Times. Nobody's running this. Congressional race. This is brand new. So congressional race, U.S. judge rules. Now, this is very important in this story. And this is why I brought it all the way up to this point. And why the media is out there screaming about mail-in ballots and Trump being wrong and lying and telling one whopper after another. That's a lie. Judge rules. Get ready, because U.S. judge rules is a big factor in the November 3rd election. How will the judges rule? You know, the Obama-Biden appointees, how will they rule? Delays continue in race that remains undecided 6 weeks after a Democratic primary in which Representative Carol B. Maloney faces off against the challenger. Let's read a little bit together. I know you love it when we read together. Let's read a couple clips out of some of these articles. New York Times article. This is brand new, number 29. They're 6 weeks into it now, Mr. Trump said. They have no clue what's going on. Under Judge Toro's decision, ballots received the day after Election Day. Now listen to these words in the New York Times. This happened just yesterday, June 24th. The election was June 23rd. The judge ruled ballots received the day after Election Day, June 24th, will be counted without regard to whether such ballots are postmarked by June 23rd. Without regard. So they're not going to be looking directly about the postmark. Now, most mail-in ballots have to be postmarked, received, and then postmarked by the election day. That's why a lot of these states that Trump is talking about with Nevada, 7 days after. So 7 days after November 3rd would be what, the 10th? So on November 10th, at your election board, yes, your board of elections that you don't pay attention to, hey, I got a ballot that came in. Yeah, it says November 3rd. We can take it. Put in that stack over there. Get ready, folks. This is true. This is true, okay? It's getting ready to happen in America, and you need to take control. And you need to flood your board of elections. How do we fix this? Your board of elections. Now, pronto. Go to the meeting. It's more important that you have people in the board of elections meeting. Well, I live in rural North Georgia. I live in rural Tennessee. I live in rural North Carolina. Let me tell you where they have taken over all of the rural areas that you didn't pay attention to. They flooded them with the under the radar Democrats that are posing as Republicans in your community. Yeah, I said it. You better pay attention. So keep this up here. Under the judge, without regard to whether such ballots are postmarked by June 23rd. Mr. Patel estimates that this amount is only about 1,200 ballots, which would not be enough for him to overtake Ms. Mahoney. Ballots that were received by June 25th, 2 days after the election deadline, would also be valid so long as they did not have a postmark later than the 23rd. So, wait a minute. Wait for it. Number 30. This gets better. Okay? Number 30. The ruling by, I ask you to go read very few times in the New York Times, the ruling by Judge the Torres for Federal District Court. Federal District Court, pay attention to that, in Manhattan, may not affect the outcome of June 23rd's primary. Representative Carol Mahoney is leading her Democratic challenger, Patel, by 3,700 votes, and the judge's decision was narrowly drawn to force the counting of only partial of the 12,000 disputed absentee ballots. 12,000. Now, judges are making decision here. Partial of 12,500 disputed absentee ballots. So keep in mind, November 3rd, judges are going to make the decisions on which ballots get counted after that. Watch. You'll see which counts get better. Count it. Now, this is July 25th. This is from, the others are New York Times. This one's from the Washington Post. I just want to grab this one from the Washington Post, number 32. Okay? The 12th Congressional District of New York. Keep in mind, this is the congressional district. Keep in mind, what do we need? 35, 33, I don't know off the top of my head, seats in the House of Representatives to take it back? Oh, get ready. In one corner, you have Representative Carol B. Mahoney, a pal of House Speaker Pelosi, who has been in Congress since 1993 and recently elected to the chair of the House Oversight Committee. And the other is Patel, a former Obama campaign staffer. Hell, Obama. Damn. Interesting. Is this an Obama-appointed judge? A former Obama campaign staffer? Well, hell, an attorney who has never held a public office, ran his family business, blah, 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 blah. How the hell did that damn Obama get in there? Here's another one from the New York Times, little clip, number 33. Number 33. All right, what was that? Hey, what did you just have up? Oh, I said 33. I'm sorry. Did you have 32 up? Was that up earlier? No, 32. Did you go to 32? Okay. You had 32, right, when I read that, correct? Go to 32. Is that, you had that up? Okay, we read that. Former Obama campaign staffer? Okay, we had that. And then I was the one that yelled 33, and I was the one that should have said 30. Oh, 33B. Hey, sorry. So back to the New York Times article. I apologize, Emily, in front of the whole entire world. At the center of this mess is a massive influx of mail-in ballots. This is from the New York Times article. 403,000 returned ballots in the city this cycle versus 23,000 that were returned. And this is in 2016 primary, only 23,000 mail-in ballots. This time, 403,000. And a system wholly unprepared to process them. You're not prepared to process them. Now, you're going to say, well, wait a minute, I'm in, I'm in this little county up here in the corner of Natchez, Kentucky. It won't happen here. Bull, S-H-I asterisk, it will happen in your little county of Natchez, Kentucky. I'm like Stacey Abrams. I'm making up counties now. Don't look those up. Well, I'm from the little county over here. Ain't happening here. Bull. I'm sorry. I got to be candid. It is happening. Your mail-in ballots are going to go through the roof. You're not prepared to count them. Well, who are you to tell us we're not prepared? Who am I? I don't give a damn who I am. I'm just telling you the truth. You're not prepared. This went from 23,000 in the 2016 primary to 403,000. A system wholly unprepared to process them. Your Board of Elections, no matter where you're at, New York City, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, your Board of Elections that are packed with Democrats. See, Democrats know. Now, listen, I am not directly calling Republicans dumbasses. But if the shoe fits, sorry. So if the shoe fits, the dumbass shoe fits, you're wearing it. So I'm not... But what Republicans tend to do in rural counties in America is backslap their fellow man. Hey, how are you, Joe? How are you? Good. I'm happy for that. But what we tend to do is not look under the veils and see who is really a Republican conservative and put them in office or appoint them to boards. I go to meetings all the time. Now, I'm not knocking your local elected officials, so get your head out of your ass and quit worrying about whether I'm being mean to your friends. I'm more concerned about November 3rd and the damn truth because I have it on the screen. Now that I said that and people are upset with me, I go to meetings and I hear, well, so-and-so has served their 4-year term on this board and that board, and I'd like to appoint old Joe or old Fred or Martha or Mary or Jane. All in favor, aye. We don't know a damn thing about them. Now, I'm not being mean. I know what you're saying. Well, wait a minute. I like the people that run my elections. I get it. I'm going to throw a direct shot right at Fannin County election office, at Gilmer County election office. Those people know what they mean to me personally. They're good people. I like them. Okay? And I'm not going to step out past that because I don't know all the election offices, but I do know this. Board of Elections everywhere in the United States has been the most overlooked committee in your county, in your state, in the United States of America, and it's jam-packed full of Democrats because they know what to do. While Republicans are out, oh, hell, I didn't want to go here. While Republicans are out getting elected in these red states, great, I'm happy for you. Democrats are getting appointed. Oh, a Democrat appointed is as strong as a Republican election in some areas. Well, my commission board, all 5 are Republicans, and I'm proud of it. Well, my board of education, all 5 are Republicans, and I'm proud of it. Well, we hold every Republican seat in the county, and I'm proud of it. Democrats enjoy, and it's as big a win for them to get appointed to things as you getting elected to things. I know if you didn't understand that, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Now, the system is wholly unprepared to process them. It's not just delayed results that is the issue. In the 12th district and primaries across the country, tens of thousands of mail-in ballots were invalidated for technicalities like a missing signature or missing postmarks on the envelope. That could be an accident. So this stack of missing postmarks, we're going to take those. We're going a little further into this article, number 34, if we have it. Number 34. But the invalidation rate is concerning to many who are watching the race. According to data from the Board of Election, BOE, the data from the Board of Election, First Public Intercept and Gothamist, up to 1 in 5 mail-in ballots were declared invalid before even opened. 1 in 5 invalid based on a mistake with their exterior envelope. Based on a mistake with their exterior envelope. Now, I got to stop there. We got to remember to come back, and I'm going to tell you why. Based on a mistake from their exterior envelope. Now, this may bore you. You may think I've lost my damn mind, but I'm going to tell you, if you don't share this segment with everybody as a wake-up call with the truth of what's really going on out there, I can't be of any help. Really. I'm just yelling in the wilderness. Because I'm bringing you facts. Stay with exterior based on mistakes with exterior envelopes. Now, we want to remember 34. We're going to come back to that. Remember this one I just showed you yesterday, number 48. I'm sorry. I know you don't like that, but that is me just getting so cranked. It's really number 48, Pennsylvania to pay mail-in ballot postage for November general election. Oh, serenity now, serenity now. This is so damn simple. Do you know why Pennsylvania wants to pay and other states. Do you know why Stacey Abrams and Fair Fight? Do you know why they're yelling all across America that a mail-in ballot must have a prepaid postage stamp on it, and it's not a stamp. It's already a canceled out, because this will prohibit the 1 in 5 from not being opened. That's right. If the envelope meets all the criteria, it will get opened. If it gets opened, then a judge will determine if it's valid for a count. Wake up. 1 in 5 in this New York Times article is tossed just because the envelope is invalid. So what these states are doing, and liberal judges, liberal governors like the Democrat, the transgender-loving Democrat Tom Wolf. I'm sorry, damn it. Check the Minister of Health or whatever, Secretary of Health. It's a he, she. All right, check it out for yourself. Why do you think they're yelling that if you don't give Black America a prepaid self-addressed envelope, it's equivalent to a poll tax? You see, if you get that self-addressed envelope and you get your mail-in ballot, here it is, it came in the mail, and you open it, and there's an envelope, and it says, just fold, complete your ballot, fold, insert, seal, and drop. Complete, fold, insert, seal, and drop. 1 in 5. Just think of how many ballots, hundreds, millions of ballots are going to come in across this country. Hundreds of thousands are going to be thrown out based on the envelope alone. Just showed you that in black and white with proof, not a whopper. This is why Pennsylvania governor, this is why they're screaming and calling it a poll tax. Bull, because they know if we can get the mail-in ballots to be prepaid and everything done, that it'll get open. Let me say this one more time. And I know that for those out there who say you just repeat yourself, this is worthy of repeating. Remember, go back to the one I just had. What was it, 34? Where were we at? Was that 34? Okay. Right? 1 in 5, 34. 1 in 5. Okay? 1 in 5. Mail-in ballots were declared invalid before even being opened, based on mistakes with the exterior envelopes. Take that out of the equation, they get open, that a judge will decide who counts them. I've got to take a break, okay? We're not finished with this. You do not want to miss, all right, the wrap up on this, because I'm far from done and proving what the president's saying and proving what we got to get out and do. Take a break. Serenity now. We'll be right back.
Circuit World has complete queen bedroom packages at amazing prices. Get this queen bed, dresser and mirror, one nightstand, bedding set, and free 32-inch TV, all for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this complete queen bedroom set and sleep in style, also for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. What an incredible deal! Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Experience from day one. As many of you know, I have over 30 years of law enforcement experience. Throughout my career, I've never seen times like we have right now. These times are very scary and are concerning to me and the citizens of Gilmer County. I'm ready to serve Gilmer County from day one because I have that experience, and it does matter. I understand what a search warrant and arrest warrant is. It deals with our constitutional rights. The Fourth Amendment right protects us against illegal searches and seizures. What is an arrest warrant and what does it contain? It contains probable cause that is articulated from statutory law. It has to include the elements of those statutory law and probable cause to be a valid arrest warrant. Any warrant that comes before me that is not a valid arrest warrant won't be signed off on. I will protect your constitutional rights. I would like to ask for you to vote for my experience. Look at my experience and understand that I have enforced the law the majority of my adult life. Please vote for me on August 11th. I'll be ready from day one. My opponent, with all due respect, doesn't have that experience. When I walk in that office that first day, I'll be ready to serve Gilmer County. Thank you.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
I'm Jeff Riblett, President of Asset Protection Group. As a certified financial planner and with 20 years experience, I've helped thousands of families and business owners create a tremendous amount of wealth. Fortunately, most of that wealth has been protected. Don't allow an unforeseen life event, such as a nursing home stay or the next market meltdown, destroy your family's wealth. Be smart. Call me. Let's determine how best to protect your assets and preserve your wealth.
Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is more than just your average Ace. We have a huge selection of Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next trip. We have a huge selection of lumber for your next building project. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs. Plus, we have everything you'd expect, like paint, tools, and equipment.
Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
The Chevy inventory is rolling in again, and Days Chevrolet in Jasper is discounting them deep. North Georgia's #1 truck, the Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, discounted up to $8,000 off. Plus, get huge savings with 0% financing for 84 months on every Equinox and Trax. Everyone's been waiting for these Chevys, and we've got them for less at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done. Find new roads.
All right, folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Now, we want to wrap up this segment, but remember, yesterday I played the videos, and the media is afraid of this, and Trump is a master, absolutely a master at moving. Now, they said yesterday, CNN, Jim Acosta said OAN teed it up. OAN did not tee it up for the president. OAN brought up something that's very important. The New York Times article that came out last night that I have, okay? I have that article here. We have showed you, let's see, give me number, man, I'm not going to get to everything today, but let me look at this very quickly. Number 21. pledges a lawsuit, number 21. Okay. All right. And number 19, we have proved this is NBC is a lie. Trump pushes false claims about mail-in vote fraud. Here are the facts. Here are the facts. I like that because I have been presenting those. So we left off with number 34, and I want to go back to that because I want to wrap up. There's two things I want to do, okay? Remember, I showed you the exterior envelopes, and I showed you yesterday that's why Governor Tom Wolf, and that's why Governor Wolf in Pennsylvania and other governors out there and Secretary of States, they want envelopes, prepaid envelopes. Why? Mistakes on exterior envelopes resulted in 1 in 5. And not to be redundant, if the 1 in 5, if you take away the mistakes on the envelope, if they get opened, that ballot, there's a decision has to be made on that ballot. Keep that in mind, a decision, right? So what they're doing is they're taking away, that's why Tom Wolf is a good one there. The majority of mistakes are due to missing or late postmarks and missing signatures. Preliminary numbers from the BOE, Board of Elections, show an individual rate of 19%. An invalidation rate of 19% in both Manhattan and Queens and 28% in Brooklyn. Invalidation rate, 1928, okay, in Brooklyn. They got to fix the invalidation rate. They know what they're doing. Just in this district, that rate, if applied to all of Brooklyn, would equate to 34,000 ballots thrown out in a borough with the city's largest population of what? Black residents. So we got Obama in the story. We got black residents in this story. We've got the reason they want the postmarks. Now, I just sent you the new 51 that's probably 52, but it's another clip out of this article I've got to run with, and I want to close today. In her decision, all right? So keep in mind, you get the envelope out of the way as high as a 19% invalidation rate, okay? So you get the envelope problem out of the way with a prepaid, everything, it's foolproof. The return envelope is now foolproof. You don't have to buy a stamp, nothing. Everything is ready. Sign it and go. Because if you open it, now a judge has to make a decision on your vote. So remember, we have a whole stack of ballots here in this race that are postmarked after June 23rd. We've got a stack of ballots that came in with no postmark whatsoever. No postmark whatsoever. All right? Look who is giving the discretion. Look who's taking the discretion to make the decision on your election. And this is what will happen nationally. In her decision, Judge Torres also opened the door for possible consideration of ballots received as late as June 30th if they could decide the race. Yeah, set back. Let that absorb in. Primary, June 23rd. Received as late as June 30th. 7 days. Bada bing, bada boom, right? Nevada, 7 days. So 23rd and 7 would make June 30th. Is 7 going to be a magic number? Is 7 what they've told the judges, the corrupt little people over at the Board of Elections in your local neighborhood have told the judges that's about the time we need to see if we have enough ballots to make the decision change? Yes. Read it again. In her decision, Judge Torres also opened the door for possible considerations of ballots received as late as June 30th, 7 days after June 23rd, if it could decide the race. So you have an attorney for a party arguing before a judge that there's enough ballots received after 7 days after the date of the election that could decide the race. So, little pun intended here, the judge decides. You better read this. You better listen to it. Believe it or not, from the New York Times and from the President of the United States. In the June 23rd primary, the outcomes of some races were determined or codified by absentee votes, including several victories for the progressive wing of the Democrat Party in New York, a deep blue state. So we got Obama in this article, the judge, but take away, if they could decide the race, if you don't pay attention to this, now what they will do in Nevada, and I'm just going to say this, actually in this race right here, absentee ballots or mail-in ballots, would allow people to go into the, we have memory care units across this nation. Now, let me say this. I'm being very serious, and this is no disrespect to our senior citizens across this country. We have memory care units all across this country. Nevada's governor would allow somebody to go into memory care facilities and help vote for people, seniors with dementia. Nevada will watch and see no postmark will be accepted. It'll be a disaster, a disaster. New York's race right here. The president says it's a disaster, okay? Now, I will finish this and give you some thought. And then, Emily, I want to take a real short break. I don't want 8 minutes and whatever. I want to take a short break because I want to set up at 9:30. I do want to do a segment on the Governor Brian Kemp, and you're going to want to stay for this if you're nationally. I want you to stay for this and listen because it involves Senator Kelly Loeffler and Congressman Doug Collins in the work. But listen to me. Remember when the president said to bring a stack of ballots and just throw them down on the desk? A stack. Okay. You remember in the financial collapse, this is where I leave the ground, folks, and you will have to think about this. You remember in the financial collapse when we were bundling, okay, we were bundling A mortgages, A, B's, and D's, and banks were buying bundles of mortgages, right? And we had these people say, selling to investors, we have 1,000, okay? Just buy 1,000. Not buy one at a time, buy 1,000, okay? And then we had investors and then we had people, crooked people that were in, are these, yes, they're A approved loans. And like every third one, they'd stick in a D, a C, a B, back to 5 A's, a D, a C. Remember that? Okay? In a stack. But they would sell it to investors as a bundle package of 1,000 or whatever, A valued loans. And they collapsed because that wasn't true. We were doing devalued loans, devalued, not devalued, D grade value loans, and we were shoving them in. People were shoving them in these packages and selling them as A's. So fast forward, they will slam down. They will find boxes. Trump is correct. They will find boxes of ballots, and they will go in a back room. My Democratic friends, I love you, but here you goes the truth. They're going to go in a back room. They're going to come in and say, these have been counted, and these are all Joe Biden, and there's 1,298. No need to look at every fourth one. They're just over here. Or cull them through and throw them away, the Trump. They'll throw away the Trump ballots. I read you this article. We're going to keep these clips. We're going to keep these clips in this article, and we're going to go all the way to Election Day. Mail-in ballot is a disaster. Is a disaster. My final thing, no matter where you're at in America, please find out when your Board of Election, okay? There's two things I want you to listen to. Find out when your Board of Election meeting is. I don't care where you're at in America. The most rural county. Do you realize in rural America, if you have in your county 5 members on your Board of Election, and 3 have snuck under the radar and been appointed that are really never Trumpers or Joe Biden supporters, and they're on your Board of Elections, okay? They claim to be Republicans. Do you realize in Republican counties that vote 85% Republican, how many damn Democrats you really have in office and in places because they know the only way they can win is say they're a Republican? So you need to go to that Board of Election meeting. You need to say immediately, I'm here to volunteer on election night to help count absentee ballots. I don't want paid. Well, if I do it, I'm going to get paid. You don't want paid. You want to save the damn country. You don't want paid. You want to save the country. Yes, Biden winning is a disaster at so many levels. So you go to that Board of Election meeting and you say, I want to help, okay? Or you raise your hand and say, how many of you will identify as a party? How many of you will tell me who you voted for in 20? Get them stirred. I can't answer that. Well, that was inappropriate. You should never ask anybody that. Ask them. Get them stirred up. See what they think. Then find out the person that appointed them. You appointed them. What do you know about them? Now, I'm not saying attack. You got it? Get involved. And if you come out of the meeting, you say, that was so damn boring. While they sit there for an hour and a half and just talked about setting up machines. Tell them you will work the polls. There does not need to be a shortage of poll workers. This is their out saying we don't have enough poll workers, so we got to have mail-in ballots. Immediately, there should be a articles everywhere. Board of Election swamped by citizens saying they want to help. Get the word out. And I don't care how boring it is. Remember my final word. Republicans are not bad at getting elected locally. Republicans are not bad at getting elected in your local elections. Okay? Democrats are better at getting appointed because they know where the power is in that appointment. Take a really short break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about Governor Brian Kemp. We're going to talk Georgia. We're going to talk about Doug Collins and Kelly Loeffler. You don't want to miss it. Take a break. Hey, I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Phone number, email address, social media way to follow us. Tuesday, August 4th, 2020. So, we broke down mail-in ballots. We broke down the New York Times article. We broke down what's going to happen with the judge. Let's move on. Tomorrow is August 5th. Now, by time this segment airs, which is live, but I mean, we get it out there and we get off the show. Let me see if I can straighten this whole mess up I've made. The governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, has to give me boom, boom, boom. Where's it at? It is the I had it here a second ago. Hang tight. I know where it's at. It is an AJC clip that I had up earlier. It's the second number 40. It's the one about beer and wine, second 40. It's like 40B or something from the AJC. So yesterday, the governor of Georgia signed, and this is a serious segment I want to do. The governor of Georgia signed a bill allowing stores to deliver beer, wine, liquor to Georgians at home. Okay. Now, we know the governor of Georgia, Brian P. Kemp, has put every bit of political clout, his people, his campaign people, everybody, everything. He's all in. He's not 99%. He is all in on Kelly Loeffler, the senator of Georgia, getting her elected. Senator Kelly Loeffler, getting her elected. Now, I am making here is a question I'm asking for a friend. Now, there's a lot of bills that remain unsigned. Tomorrow is August 5th, and that's the deadline. Now, if Governor Kemp gets the red pen out and vetoes it, you know, the odds are you have to go back in the session. You have to call a special session to override something that's been vetoed. I do not see, okay? I do not see the governor vetoing anything that Georgia House Speaker David Ralston and Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan are going to consider powerful enough that they got to go back and do a veto override. So that won't happen. If it's vetoed, it's vetoed. That's that. Second, all right, as soon as tomorrow ends, what bills the governor does not sign sit there for a period of time, I think, and turn into law automatically. I'm pretty sure if he doesn't sign it, then it automatically turns into law in so many days, okay, without his signature. And 3, he signs it. That puts the governor's full weight behind it. So 1, Matt Gertler, and this is not a Matt Gertler segment, but Matt Gertler, who's running for the 9th Congressional District to replace Doug Collins, is probably praying, the governor vetoes HB 838, which is the Peace Officers Bill of Rights legislation. Okay. So he is probably hoping he vetoes it. If the governor vetoes HB 838, the Peace Officers Bill of Rights legislation, that takes a lot of weight off Gertler's shoulders. But my prediction is, okay, that tomorrow, sometime, there'll be a lot of fanfare, a lot of press, as Governor Kemp signs HB 838, Peace Officers Bill of Rights legislation, accompanied by Senator Kelly Loeffler. I do not know. Nobody has sent a message. Nobody has told me anything. I could be never totally. Damn, I'm never totally wrong when it comes to politics. There's circumstances. Things happen that change, direction. Not wrong when it comes to politics. So I think the governor will sign HB 838, the Peace Officers Bill of Rights legislation, to great fanfare today or tomorrow somewhere. They are probably looking at Doug Collins' schedule, want to make sure they upstage. Now, there's a reason politically why Collins went over to the Georgia Sheriff's Association and got that major backing from so many sheriffs over there in Lake Lanier. There's a reason why Collins has been out. Congressman Doug Collins has been out in the last 10 days, not that he hasn't before, but the last 10 days, and really raking in, and promoting his support for law enforcement, because he knows HB 838 is going to take center stage, and that Kemp is going to give it, my prediction, today or tomorrow, HB 838, Kemp is going to give it a major, he's going to have law enforcement behind him. Oh, yeah. He's not just signing HB. It's going to be Georgia State Patrol. It's going to be sheriffs. He's going to have sheriffs. He's going to have Kelly in the picture. My prediction, watch and see if I don't show you a picture of that between now and Thursday. Okay? Watch. Now, on top of that, he does not want, no more than he can lose politically, for members of Congress, members of the Georgia State House and Senate to back Doug Collins. Now, Collins is a former member of the Georgia State House, okay? Georgia State House. And House Speaker David Ralston, my prediction is House members, remember when Collins went earlier in the year and opened the session with prayer? Remember that? Remember the session opened with prayer on, I think it was qualifying day? Yes, qualifying day. Just off of memory. I don't have anything on the screen. Qualifying day. Congressman Doug Collins went into the well of the House of Representatives in the state of Georgia and opened the session with prayer. After that, coming off the podium, House member after House member that has served with Congressman in the Georgia State House lined up for a picture, okay? It was a big deal. They want the endorsements. Now, you might say endorsements don't matter, but they want the endorsements is what they want, okay? So I predict, just a question mark here, that these House members and state senators all have their names on bills. And when the governor signs that bill, they get to go and say, when they campaign, fundraise, they get to go and say they sponsored or co-sponsored a bill that helps their district that Governor Kemp signed into law. To sponsor and co-sponsor a bill that passes, I think off the top of my head, Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, vetoed 12 or 14 bills. He got the red pen out last year, 12 or 14 times maybe, right? So to co-sponsor a bill and to get it out and get it voted on into the governor's desk is nothing. You can't campaign on nothing or very little if that doesn't get the signature of the governor. Now you have the full weight to go campaign back home, fundraise, send out mailers. I just passed this piece of legislation that will promote our local community, blah, blah, blah. The Governor Kemp signed on this day into law, blah, blah, blah. Send me $100. Governor Kemp knows that. Kelly Loeffler knows that. So I'm thinking it's possible, big question mark here, because that would be a little dirty. And I'm not implying that anybody here is going to do anything dirty because it's politics. Woo-hoo. But it's possible that the signature pen for those bills is being held up and said, who are you going to endorse? Oh, Mr. Governor, is that important to get my bill signed? No, not really. I'm just saying. I was wondering while I was getting ready to sign a bill with your name on it, who you might endorse for Senate. But don't worry, that's not important. But do you have an idea who you're going to endorse? Sign the damn bill. I'm thinking about Senator Loeffler. I really like her. I was thinking the same thing. Okay, here you go. Your bill signed. It could happen. I'm just saying. Just saying. Watch and read the developments, the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and see what comes out in the AJC. See who endorses. See who walks away from endorsing Congressman Doug Collins. Don't think the gov's not all in. Let's go with the 50 that should be 51, that the other one should be 52, that actually shows Senator Loeffler in the picture. Did you get all that? If you did, put that up. Way to go, Emily. A pro-Loeffler Gov group reinforces her U.S. Senate campaign. Gov is all in. Okay, this is an article yesterday out of the AJC by Greg Bluestein. U.S. Senator Kelly Loeffler has already pledged to spend $20 million of her own fortune on her November bid for another 2 years in Washington. Now she's getting timely back from a free spending outside group. A free spending outside group that Kelly Loeffler's husband, through other organizations and arm twisting, can dump a hell of a lot of money in, and there's no cap. A newly formed Georgia United Victory, Gov, Governor Kemp, spent more than $1 million on a Tuesday, on a 2-week flight of ads that begin airing Tuesday. That's today. The first volley takes direct aim at U.S. Representative Doug Collins, her Republican arch rival in a messy special election. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Pork barrel spending. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Doug Collins, he's even given us a bad name. Boom, boom, boom. The group radiates with support from Governor Brian Kemp's orbit. This is straight from Governor Brian Kemp. His former aides are said to be among his advisors. It's advisors, sorry. Governor Brian Kemp's orbit, his former aides are said to be among its advisors, and it's chaired by Martha Zoller, a one-time Kemp staffer who has a history with Collins. She was defeated by him several years ago. At this point, as if to drive the point home, the group's acronyms spell out Gov, G-U-V, all right? And let's see, political, 21 candidates, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if there's any other names I wanted to make sure got out there. So we'll stick with that. They are spending a lot of money. Zoller, a conservative radio host, didn't say who was financing the PAC, but she said that neither Loeffler, likely the richest member of Congress, or her husband, Jeffrey Sprecher, who runs the financial firm that owns the New York Stock Exchange, contributed to the group. She said that neither Loeffler likely. So that's it for that segment. It is one heck one heck of a campaign season. Hold on your hats out there, Georgia POL. That's politics. Hashtag Georgia POL. And hang tight. I want to pull something up. So let's go through quickly. That ends that segment there. Let's go through our pictures. And I can't spend a lot of time, but yes, okay. Once it starts, give me number 1. NBC producer quits. You follow that up all day long. I did not want to get stuck on that. I knew sooner or later somebody would have a conscience. Number 2, Black Lives Matter protest swarm Seattle police chief home. She happens to be black. She happens to be a woman. But because this is Black Lives Matter protest swarm her home, because she's not in favor of defunding the police in Seattle and publicly has said that, she's under attack. Just so you know. CNN, number 3, Acosta, CNN Acosta, Trump telling one whopper after another about mail-in voting. Number 4, spinning their heads off. I like to do this for what? This is important to them, to keep you away from the truth that we talked about this morning. Why do I show you this? This is what's important to them. Number 4, Trump continues defense of hydroxychloroquine, despite what his own health experts say. Just can't. Number 5, but Fauci says it doesn't work. It doesn't work. They're on your task force. Trump said Fauci's not always correct. Oh my God, he said Fauci's not always correct. Number 6, I don't agree with Fauci on everything. Trump contradicts White House experts on hydroxychloroquine. Number 7, you have 10 states. Trump says it is what it is. Oh my God, he didn't say it is what it is. It is what it is. I would just like to get one more chance to spend a couple minutes with Grandma and just say, it is what it is, Grandma. He says it's going down. But that doesn't seem to be the case because MSNBC chart, and this must be true. Remember this. I always tell you, what they are yelling the loudest when they see the truth, they are in fear. Okay, Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and Bill Clinton being on the island and the other pedophiles being on the island, they are in fear of what's about to happen. They are in fear of John Durham. They are in fear of Attorney General Barr. So remember, I tell you, when they're in fear, so when they know they're up against, they yell something louder over the top of you. It's like talking to somebody that just keeps talking over you and over you when you're trying to get the truth out. That's what this is. Number 9. New York grand jury may be investigating Trump Organization for fraud. This intensifies every day, okay? This intensifies every day, and there's things that they're going to intensify because I've told you. They're going to block the news on vaccines. They're going to block the news on John Durham, and they're getting this ready. They don't want to shoot this rocket off yet. They're lighting firecrackers. You know, it's like 4th of July, you start with some sparklers, you throw off some firecrackers, a couple cherry bombs, and then it gets dark, and it's time to light that candle, all right? This is what they're doing, floating this out. New York grand jury may be investigating Trump Organization for fraud, not payments to women, hush payments, fraud. They even went as far to say that if he would not have been elected president, he would have been indicted and in jail this morning. already. Okay. Number 10, New York suggests a fraud probe is driving a bid for Trump's records. We need them because we're investigating fraud. Okay. Number 11. Now, Andrew Cuomo, pay attention. Why did Biden put off his VP pick for another week? Why? Now, those of you out there that love a good wonder, just throw it out there. Is he waiting for Michelle Obama? I know that just freaked a lot of people out. Is he waiting for Michelle Obama? Did he vet all the other candidates and they went through all of their video clips and everything they said, okay, to see how well they poll? My question is this, and I'm going to ask this. This is just crazy, but, you know, hell, far be it from me not asking a nice, crazy question. I've not looked this up, but if a nominee for president of the United States picks a vice presidential candidate, okay, and they win 2 terms, then that means, like Joe Biden, right? Then that means, right, that the vice president could be in the actual White House for 8 years. The vice president can then run for president. Okay, you got to look through history, see the last time this happened. And he can run 2 terms. So you can start with a vice president of the United States that actually could have 16 years. Now, George H. Bush came close because Reagan had 8 years. Bush was in there 8 years. And then he got 4. Okay. And then you had the Ross Perot and the Bill Clinton, and, you know, George H. didn't want it anymore. And the deep state found a better avenue to work with Bill Clinton. All of that being said, George H. Bush could have had 16 years. Constitutionally, can Barack Hussein Obama be Joe Biden's vice presidential pick? Just saying, wondering. So here's Cuomo on the screen. But President Trump says it is what it is. 150,000 Americans have died, and Trump says it is what it is. Here's the party boat, number 12. I love it. These people on the party boat out there in New York, in the harbor there, or Hudson, out on the Hudson on the party boat, are in trouble. Here's Jonathan Swan, number 13. But Mr. President, wear a mask, wear a mask, wear a mask. Okay. All right. Now, it is what it is, number 14. I want to play this video. Now, you have the one where I told you to play the bottom that says exclusive, right? Where these people go into Walmart. Emily, I sent you a story, and at the bottom, I said it says exclusive at the bottom. These people go into Walmart, they don't have a mask. There's people in the Walmart that do have a mask. A confrontation. Play that video. I don't want to leave without that.
Wear your damn mask in this form. Thank you. Stop it. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, okay. That's assault. That's assault. Stop it. That is assault. Are you going to tell us? We're going to take your picture to the cops. Go ahead, everybody. You think this is cute, huh? You think this is cute, not wearing a mask? I hope you die from your pants. Where the hell from, bro? I'm taking them this garbage. You can take care of this for a long time. Thank you. You'll get a damn mask and put it on your face. Thank you for your service. We appreciate your service, sir. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh, you can't video? It's not fun. How the hell is it from this guy? No, I got a health problem too. I'm asthmatic. Guess what? I'm wearing one.
Hello, everyone. We're here at the Post Falls.
I do wear a mask when I go into a store. I don't want this confrontation. This is unnecessary. I don't want this confrontation. You see what they cost? It wasn't the president of the United States. They want you to believe the president of the United States caused this. No, the media caused this hysteria. The media caused this fear. The media caused you to believe that if you're not having a mask on, that you're a major health disaster out there. I do wear one because I'm going to tell you this confrontation would not go well with me. You touch me and get in my face about wearing a mask, and there could be a problem. I'm just saying. So I said to somebody the other day, I said, wear your mask, because you don't need this confrontation. And I don't want it myself. I just showed it to you. That is caused. Look at what they're causing America. Now, I want to show you two things real quick. Okay. Give me number 49. I've asked you to go look this up. Number 49. This is Mark Robinson. Now, who is Mark Robinson? He is running for lieutenant governor of the state of North Carolina as a Republican, a black Republican. I tell you what, we need to talk about our black Republican candidates more. I know what you think. You think that was a racist comment. No. We need to highlight. Now, Mr. Robinson is from Greensboro, North Carolina. Greensboro, North Carolina is a predominantly black city. Greensboro, North Carolina has the famous lunch counter, was at Woolworths, where some black students or people walked in, sat down, and they actually took this lunch counter and put it in a historical museum because of civil rights, okay? That's where this man's from. I know Greensboro very well, and I know where this guy's from, and I know how liberal the area is in certain places. But anyhow, he goes to the Greensboro City Council, decide to pass some gun legislation, and he goes just as Joe Citizen. Look him up. Mark Robinson, and remember the day he went and gave that passionate speech. Then after that, he says, I'm going to run as a Republican as lieutenant governor of North Carolina. Congressman Doug Collins is right there behind him. Now, let me say this. Go to North Carolina polling. They leave this out. The good polling that's done. This guy is running away as a Republican, black Republican, for lieutenant governor of North Carolina. Now, find out when the last time the state of North Carolina had A, black, B, Republican lieutenant governor. He is well on his way to winning, which trashes all of the polls that they're trying to get you to believe in North Carolina that Biden is up. This man right here. Yen, you should go watch his video that goes back to 2018 that actually will validate, you know, what we are saying about today. Very important. Want to keep that up. And last but not least, number 47. We'll close with this. Not a word again today. And this is Bill Clinton with my oh hell. That's Bill Clinton with his oh hell look. Invited all the women. Oh,